sun is shining, not a cloud in the sky. What a beautiful day. The birds are singing and so am I. What a beautiful day. I'd like to keep this moment for the rest of my life, but I know there'll always be a little toil and strife. What a beautiful day, such a beautiful day.
Hi knitters, welcome to the Guilty Knitter. I'm Vivian, coming to you from Montreal, Canada. It's another beautiful day. Yesterday it was very rainy, so it's nice to have some sun today, but the garden looks a lot better for having had some water. Had a little drink, as my mother would call it. Anyway, if you're a new viewer, welcome, and if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I really appreciate you coming and checking out my little corner of the internet. This is episode 25, which is kind of crazy. I'm so happy I made it to 25. Started back in January of 2018, so I'm coming up to, is that correct? 2018? Yeah, I think so. So yeah, I'm coming up to 25. Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, it's a lot of fun to do, and as I said, welcome back and welcome to new viewers. Please, if you end up enjoying this podcast, whether you watch it whole or in part, press like and subscribe so you know when I'll be doing new ones. I brought some flowers from the garden, some marigolds, aren't they pretty? And some sage, yes. And that's just a little bit of a heuchera or a coral bells, kind of a dried up flower, but it kind of makes a nice sprig. This is a beautiful little vase that I use a lot, and I guess it's supposed to be a little jug, but I use it as a vase. My husband really likes ceramics and pottery, and so he bought this somewhere on his travels. I really like it. Can't really have it in the picture because it's too small, but anyway, it's there for me, for my enjoyment, more than yours. So what has been new? I'm 2 weeks late with this podcast, but I'll tell you why. Ta-da! I finished my sanctuary. I was kind of really keen to finish it off before this episode, but also I was away, and you know how summer is. So that's how that goes. But I do have this beautiful FO to talk to you about. I always forget to turn off my phone. Anyway, so I'm going to talk to you all about that. The Sanctuary Tea by Stephanie Earp. And I have to talk to you about an upcoming knit-along that I want to do. I'm going to start that in September, and it's going to run for, I'd say, 3 months, because I'm hoping to encourage people to knit sweaters and to try maybe something new, which is either to steek a sweater, maybe one that you already have, who knows, like that. I'm going to be doing that, or one that you want to adapt from a pullover to a cardigan, which I'm also going to do, and or to try some color work, so like a Fair Isle type or other color work sweater. And you could also do both, because color work lends itself usually very well to steeking, and there are lots of patterns out there that are meant to be steeked or that could be adapted to steeking. So, and if you don't know what steeking is, it's when you cut your knitting down the front and create a cardigan out of a pullover. And believe me, it's not as scary as it sounds. I have done it once, and I'm not afraid to do it again, and I'm really actually looking forward to doing it. And I thought I would go through, anyway, I was getting ahead of myself, but those are the things I'm going to talk about, as well as my whip, which is the little Avery Sweater, where I'm work in progress. Avery Sweater by Verona Knits, which has been on my, well, I've been working on that since I really before I finish this and after, mostly after I finish this, I've been concentrating on the little Avery sweater, which is just a child sweater, and I'm hoping to finish it really fast because I have so many other things on my needles and so many things I want to knit. In fact, I was looking in my stash this morning and going, oh God, how am I going to knit all this before I die? Probably not going to happen. I wonder who, my friend Linda has already had, asked for me to leave her all my yarn from my stash to her, and I hereby tell you that I will do that, even if it's not in my will officially. It's out there in public. It's all for Linda. She may do with it as she wills. Anyway, I'm awfully sure she doesn't need any more yarn, but there you go. She may curse me when the time comes. Okay, well, so let's see. Yeah, I might as well get started with my beautiful sanctuary. Now let's see if I can stand up and show you the whole thing. Okay, so this is the way it is meant to be worn, which is kind of inside out. I don't know, well, it would be typically shown the other way, but this is the way it's supposed to be shown. It's supposed to be worn. The nice thing about it is that the back and front are identical, so you can just pull it off, put it on any old way, and it works. I made sure that I wove in my ends carefully so that I could use it inside out or outside in or whatever I felt like. But I do prefer it the way Stephanie Earp designed it. I think it looks better like this, which I'm kind of surprised because I thought I was going to like it the other way better. But anyway, either way is perfectly good, and I encourage you to try this pattern. It's really fun. I talked about it a lot on my last episode, so I might not go into a whole lot of detail. I made it out of Sweet Georgia flaxen silk fine, and it's made of linen and silk. Actually, mostly silk, I think. Where did I put my? Hold on a minute now. So this is all I have left over. I had 2 balls. I bought 2 balls, and I have this much left over from the second ball, and I didn't need the third one. I was kind of amazed at how little yarn it took. So it was really worth shelling out that little bit of. It's not a cheap yarn, but it was so worth it. So it's called Sweet Georgia Flaxen Silk Fine, and it's in the Deep Cove colorway. And it is 65% silk, 35% linen, and it has just a gorgeous feel to it. So I recommend it highly. There it is. That's what it looks like. So yeah, what else about this? Getting gauge was a little bit tricky, but I really encourage, if you're going to do this pattern, to do a little swatch so you get used to the way how to make the beehive or the honeycomb pattern. Once you get the hang of it, you can memorize it pretty fast. You need to maybe refer to it once in a while, but it was pretty good. I mean, the main point where you might trip up for me, and I mentioned this before, was the yarn overs. If you forget a yarn over, or yeah, mostly that was what I was doing. That was the mistake I often made. So I made a little video, and I put it in the last episode about how to pick up a yarn over from a couple of rows back and incorporate it into your knitting if you forget. If you forget one. I mean, that can happen in so many lace patterns, so I thought it would be useful to have a little tutorial. I mean, not that there aren't a zillion out there, but it's fun to do. So I'm going to make a little playlist on my channel for my tutorials, because I'm going to, I like doing them, so I'll probably keep doing them. Probably, I might have maybe 3 or 4 at this point. I will have 3 or 4, because I'm going to put 2 new ones in the playlist. One from that last episode and a new one that I made, new one or two that I made also about the sanctuary tea. So what else? The nice thing too about this is once you get past the split for the sleeves, it's all straight down, so there's no shaping. I mean, you might want to shape it, I don't know. This is a little bit big for me, but I kind of like the drape and I like the casual nature of it. I think you could dress it up quite easily, but it can be quite informal as well, a casual top. So once you get past there, you have a reasonable number of stitches on your needles, and you just knit all the way down. But then I just found it so fun to make these little beehives that it's just way better for me than just straight stockinette. So, as I have realized lately, I don't do well with reams and reams of stockinette. So, anyway, that's a good thing to know. It's important to know yourself better. And I think knitting is a great way to find out some things about yourself. Sometimes it takes a while. But yeah, so I'm going to try to avoid that scenario in future. But I know, it's impossible because look, I'm going to do the Opteca sweater for my daughter for Christmas, and it will require a lot of stockinette. But it's got some cables, some simple cable work in there, so that'll make it more interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, I'll talk about that in a little while. Is there anything else I wanted to say about my... yeah, I was able to bring the third skein of this back to the store, which was great because now I have a little store credit, which is always fun when you're at your favorite store. Espace Tricot, in case you don't know, which is 2 blocks from my house. Just a little too conveniently located for my pocketbook. But no, I've actually been really good because I have so much stash. I've been trying not to go into it too much and buy new things all the time. But although I did have to buy a couple of small skeins for this Avery sweater because it's, yeah, I just didn't have the right things. But anyway, that's fine. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, that's about it for my beautiful sanctuary. I'm just really happy that I got it done. Actually, in a fairly timely manner. I started in July and I'm finished now at the end of August. And I probably finished it August 25th or something like that. And today is August 29th, I think. Oh my god, I almost finished August. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I think that was pretty good considering it was a lot of knitting, small needles and a lot of stitches. But yeah, I'm very happy. So moving on to my whips. Okay, so I am doing my work in progress at the moment is the Avery sweater by Sasha Heyer, who is Verona Knits on Instagram and on Ravelry, I believe. And this, I chose this pattern mostly because I wanted to try out the, what do you call it, intarsia technique, which is this color work technique where you see how you start, you do this part, you knit from the bottom up, right? So you're knitting up from here, you add the yarn here, the white yarn, and at the back. So you can't strand it all the way back, all the way around. It just wouldn't work. I mean, it would be pretty bad to try and do that. So what you do is you hold, you start a ball of white and you leave that hanging here. You add another ball of blue. So you've got one blue for this side and one blue for this side, and 2 whites. Is that correct? Maybe it was, I can't remember. Yeah, I think it's 2 balls of white, one for each side. And yeah, and it does take a little doing, but I'm really glad I figured it out, or I was able to interpret interpret the pattern, because I'm sure it was a difficult thing to explain in the pattern, and yeah, so there were some things that I didn't find 100% clear, but partly because I'd never done this technique before. So I didn't realize that when you did intarsia in the round, it's not really in the round, because what you're doing is you are knitting, let's say this is the beginning of the round. Actually, this is, yeah, I forget. Yeah, I think the beginning of the round is on the side, but whatever. Let's say you knit to here. You have to knit back. You have to wrap and turn and knit around. So you're knitting and purling for this whole time between here and here. You knit in the round here, but then here you're knitting back and forth using the wrap and turn, sort of like a short row technique. Only you're not really doing short rows. You're just knitting all the way to the other side, and then knitting all the way around, or purling all the way around to the back over here, and knitting all the way around. Anyway, so that's how it works. God, I dripped some tea on this when I was knitting it in the car, and it's really annoying. And I haven't tried to get it out yet. I might try some shout. Anyway, this is for my little great niece, my husband's youngest niece. No, not youngest, but one of their younger nieces. She's just a little younger than our son, so she might be around 29, I guess. Well, she just had her first baby. And this is for little Lila. And I mean, first of all, it's going to be way too big for her. Can I just say? It's going to be enormous. But yeah, it was a little hard to tell how it was going to fit. So I thought, I'll just go for that size and she can wear it in 2 years or whatever. It's the thought that counts, right? All right, so I'm hoping that this light is not too dull. Maybe I'm going to try turning on an overhead light. Yeah, maybe that's a little better. I don't know. Sometimes it's nice to have just natural light, but if it's too dark, it's too dark, right? Okay, so I'm working on that, and now I've got the first sleeve started, and I'm into the second color, the second contrast color there. Yeah, it's not like I'm not loving what I've done so far here. I think it's a little bit messy, but I think it's going to be okay. I know what I've done wrong there, I think, but what are you going to do? Can't change it now. I'm not going back. I'm not going back, I tell you. So yeah, a nice little pattern. I would recommend you give it a try. Just, it's fun to do something small when you're trying out a new technique, I think. That's what my reasoning was. I thought I need to pick something that I can, get done fairly quickly. And yeah, that's why I chose it, and I really like it. And that's it, I guess. Was there anything else? Oh yeah, I'm using Lang, I think it's Lang 120. It's the DK weight yarn. Oh, that's not even the right one. I keep mixing up. Oh no, but I did use it. What? Huh. I have a couple of yarns that are really similar. I think this is the right one, yeah. But I have another white yarn that's very similar to that. I think it might be a little bit heavier and a little bit creamier. And I think I started using it at one point and then suddenly realized, or I was about to add it and I realized that was the wrong one. So I'm using 2 shades of the Lang, which is what I bought at Espastrico in order to finish, to complement the this Debbie Bliss Merino DK that I had in my stash. And yeah, so that's what I'm making those out of, and I'm using my Knit Picks, or Knitter's Pride wooden needles, which are really nice to work with, actually. Yeah, so that's that. I don't know what else to tell you about that. Yeah. there are a couple of challenges with intarsia. One of the things is to keep the tension quite even. I mean, so you always have to be kind of checking that you're not pulling the wrap and turns too tightly, and stuff like that. She says when the wrap and turn, she says to do the wrapping and turn the normal way, but you're sometimes wrapping and turning two different colors. So you want to have the one that's not the dominant color for that row. You want that to be in the back. And I actually found that the best way to do that was to knit the two, like when you pick up the wrap and go to knit it through the back loop. And it seemed to me that it was the way that it's the way that worked for me. So I may have been doing something wrong, I don't know, but it's a tiny little bit bumpier on this side where I did the knitted wrap and turns versus the purled wrap and turns. They're a little flatter, but it's really not that noticeable. And I just found that it hid the other color quite well. But of course it kind of twists the stitch, so I don't know. I couldn't figure any other way out to do it properly, so. Okay, so I think that's enough to talk about that. Oh, I am doing a knit along. I'm involved in a knit along that Julie Asselin has going till the 15th of September, where she's promoting, I guess, three little sweaters for kids that were designed using her yarn. I am not using Julie Asselin's yarn, even though I'd love to, because her stuff is so beautiful. But I had this purple yarn, and I just couldn't find two complementary colors in her yarn, and it's a little expensive to use for the small amount that I needed for these two contrasting colors. But it was mostly just because I couldn't get the right shades. So I was really happy to find these in the Lang. Lang is nice yarn, and it's also superwash, which I know I'm trying not to buy, but I really think that when you're giving people things for their kids that they're not, they might be throwing in the wash by accident, it's best to use superwash or something similar, or acrylic or whatever, but something that can be washed is always nice. I figure it's just nicer to the parent. It's not much of a gift if you're causing them extra work. That's what I figure. So there you go, and that's that. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get back into my Zweig. I'm just gonna bring it out to show it off again. Pretty soon I will start back into this, and oh my gosh, I'm excited about it. I'm really looking forward to getting back into it, and because I actually made good progress before I put it away for the summer. I really only have, I don't know, maybe 2-3 inches left to do, and that's pretty fun. And then of course the sleeves, but yeah, it's gonna be so fun to have this in the winter when I need it. I can't wait. Okay, so next thing I wanted to talk about is the things that are in my queue, which include the things I want to make for the knit along. One of them is, okay, I have this old sweater actually made with the same yarn as the one I'm knitting, and I'm just looking at the difference in the color. It's not that bad. It's faded a little bit, but I mean, you probably can't tell in this light. But yeah, I had a ton of this yarn given to me by Linda. She got it kind of. I think it was kind of an estate sale, or a sale where somebody had been hoarding yarn for a million years, and they finally, she had to get rid of it all. So she got a whole bunch of yarn for a pretty decent price, and she gave me one big bag of, I don't know, 12 balls of this yarn. And it feels like a magic pod of yarn. I mean, it's just crazy. I still have 3 skeins of it, I think. So, or almost 3. So what I decided to do, because this came out, I've been using it for 3 years or something since I made it, but it is way too big for me, and I think it'll look a lot better if I steek it. And because it's very wide up here, maybe I'll show it to you. I'll just do a quick change. This on. So as you see, it is very wide at the top and pretty, yeah, it's just very roomy. So what I thought is, if you see it, if I pull it like this, you see how much nicer it fits. And I've got a good, God, 4 inches of ease here that I can use. And I thought I would, first of all, I'd have to reinforce between, you know, here. Maybe, I can't decide, I'll probably do it with a machine. I'll have to borrow my friend's sewing machine. I'm going to mark the center stitch with a running stitch by hand, where I'm going to steek it eventually, and then reinforce at the sides. And then I think what I'll do is, so there was a really interesting video that I watched where you made a plaque. It's called a plaque. So kind of a facing for inside each side of the steek, and it looked like it would be really nice for this. Oh wait, no wait. I'm not going to do it for this because I want to make a button band. So yeah, I'll probably just sew it, steek it, then take it, I don't know. I'll have to look at some of the steeking videos and again to figure out exactly what I want to do, but I will be picking up on either side to make a button band, make the band, put in the buttons, and I'm going to pick up and knit along the whole collar too, to make a little ribbing. Sorry if I'm looking at myself because I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Yeah, so we'll do a button band and a collar that'll be ribbed. And I think it's gonna, because the thing is I don't want to just do the steek without adding the, I mean I don't have to maybe do the ribbing at the top, but I think it'll look better. It might match the ribbing that's gonna go down here. The other thing I could do is just do a garter stitch band on either side with buttonholes. These are things to be considered. However, that's my plan for this, and it's going to give me some practice with steeking. And this is just, I mean, I kind of like this sweater, but I don't use it outside much because it's just so huge. It's just not very flattering, you know. So I figure if I do the steeking, I might just use it a lot more, and if I don't use it a lot more, well, I'll still have it. And I'm going to put this back on, but I'll put it back on the other way. The other way meaning inside out. I'll just show you how that looks. I don't know if you can really see it, but I'm going to pull this closer and show you that, see? Yeah. So that's what it looks like. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll be steeking that. I'll also be making the Opteca. So now I'm going to talk about the knit along, which I, hold on a second. As I said, a colorwork / steeking knit along. So I'm really hoping that you'll be encouraged to try a new technique, or get more comfortable with an old technique, or whatever you want to do. I figure like right now color work is so popular. There are some really popular patterns out there by Caitlin Hunter or Diana Walla or Marie Wallen. This is the one I'm going to make for my daughter, and I'm going to steek it. So let's see, that's maybe a better picture. It's hard, this is, you know, it's a pretty casual sweater. Oops, there we go. And it might or might not lend itself really well to steeking. I think it's going to be just fine. I already decided on how I'm going to, where I'm going to put the steek, and also I plan to continue the color work that's at the bottom, or not the color work, the little cable. I'm going to put that on either side of the opening. Yeah, to just add a little more interest to it and make it more fun for me. This is an Isabel Kramer pattern, and her patterns are always well written and enjoyable to knit, so I'm looking forward to that. And Erica liked it. She gave me the thumbs up on this pattern, which is good. All important. And oh, I think my friend might be coming back to pick up her dog. Let's see what happens. What was I going to say? Yeah, so for this one, because Erica doesn't want buttons, I'm going to try that technique I mentioned to you that I saw in the video, where you add a plaque or a facing in a different yarn. It looked like a really neat technique, and I'll put a link down below to that video. I think it was a Pearl Soho video, yeah. I was pretty sure it was a Pearl Soho video, and it was really well done, and I think it's going to be fun to do. But it really would work better, I think, for a thing where I'm not worrying about buttons and buttonholes, because it does add an extra couple of steps to the whole thing. So yeah, that's what I'm planning to do with that. So that's the Opteca by Isabel Kramer, and I'm making it in this gorgeous yarn here, which is Scout, and it is, let's see now, oh my goodness, 100% wool. Calborn Woolens is the name of the company, Calborn, and it's called Scout, and it's 100% wool, not superwash or anything, so it'll be great for steeking. If you're not going to use superwash, you really have to be careful about reinforcing the steek. But for this kind of yarn, well, like for a fair number of different wools, some will kind of felt more than others. So because that's basically what happens when you steek. You steek one of these sort of rustic yarns, they are meant to kind of bind to each other. The stitches, even when you cut them, don't go anywhere because they kind of stick to each other. What I'm trying to say. That's the idea. So this is the yarn I'm going to make the Opteca with, and I've also made a swatch in the same yarn, only a different color that I happen to have. And I'm going to try that whole method with this. It's been sitting here on my needles for a while, and as you can see, I took it off my needles. But anyway, I should probably just bind that off and do it properly. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. But anyway, I'm really excited. This is a very pretty pattern, I think, the little cable, which is not too hard, but it is a lot of knitting through the back loop, which I'm getting kind of used to now, because the last few, I think it's a very popular technique right now, because it seems like every pattern I've been interested in has knitting through the back loop. I mean, I'm doing the Timber Cardigan by Shannon Cook, I think it is. And it calls for knitting through the back loop a lot. Here it is. Yeah, Shannon Cook. So I'm getting back into that in the fall as well, and you can see at the back all these lines of purl or knit that are done through the back loop. Yeah. Anyway, it's fine. It makes a very nice material, and that's why they like it. Designers like it. It makes a nice fabric. Okay, so that's it. The Opteca is with my Scout, but I wanted to show you a couple of other patterns that I would suggest you try. And one of them is a thing I've already done once. My first endeavor, my first foray into steeking was to make a little cardigan for a friend of mine who was having a baby a few years ago. And actually it was Annie Perron, who you know through, she has her own yarn now. She has Annie Perron, I don't know, yarns, I guess is what she calls herself. Used to be called Knitting It Up. Anyway, so this is the little cardigan I made. Isn't that adorable? Love it. And it was so much fun, and it's so small that you don't have to freak out about it. If it doesn't work out perfectly, you know, you can always let's see, hold the phone here. Okay, finally found it. It's called the Merriment Cardigan. So I'll put that on the screen and also put something down below for you to find the pattern on Ravelry. Again, this is my version of it, but there are many very cute versions. And it also comes, if you buy this pattern, I believe you get the pattern and you get a hat with it too. I'm not 100% sure that that's true. Maybe you have to buy them separately, but very cute little hat as well. So that's a perfect little combo if you want to try your hand at color work and steeking. And I thought that I will have a prize at the end, and I thought, well, maybe I could have 2 prizes. You could have 2 entries if you decide to steek and do color work. Anyway, that's just a thought. There's so many other ones I think would be great. Like, this one from the West Highland Way by Kate Davies. She's a great one for color work, and I earmarked this one, which I really like. I love this sweater. I wouldn't use these colors just because they're not my colors, but they are pretty, and I think some people would really love them. Yeah, if I were doing this, I would definitely choose something else, but this pattern is meant to be steeped, and so it's all in there. You don't have to fuss around with adding the steep or anything like I'm going to be doing. But there are other things in here, like for instance, look at this one. If you really wanted to get your hand in, you can make that enormous pattern right there. Oversized sweater with a gorgeous, I love this color work pattern. I was showing it to Linda yesterday and she thought she didn't really like it as much, but I really love that. I would love to try use it for something else, because I'd never make this. It would be way too much knitting. But yeah, you know, to each his own if you're up for it. You don't need to steek it or anything, but you could use that for your color work. She's got a couple of other things in here that are very nice. You could also do hats. I mean, I'm really gearing this towards sweaters, but I don't, you know, I'm not too fussy. Like if you want to do something like a cowl or a hat. I mean, a hat's a little small, but try something a little bigger. You know, I'm trying to encourage people to try garments, and especially color work garments. And of course, there's Caitlin Hunter, who has so many beautiful. Let's see, I'm just gonna find her in here, and we'll go through a few of those. Here we go. Like for instance, for Zweig, I would, even though it's not, I suppose it's not officially color work, but I mean, you use 2 colors, so I suppose you could definitely, yeah, you can definitely count this as color work. That's the one I'm making, and I'm not planning on, will not be steeking it, but if you wanted to do something like that, that would be great. What else has she got? She's got this Soldotna crop. I figure like everybody's making these, so if you wanted to do something quick and dirty, apparently this goes by like crazy. It goes by really fast. So you could do something like that, and I bet you could steek it as well, but that would be a little more work because you'd have to add it. But see what else she's got here. Oh my god, I mean, of course she has a million things. What else? Oh, here's one. Like, a lot of people have knitted, people that I know, good friends of mine, I've got at least 3 or 4 people have knitted this one that I know personally. That's a really nice one called Ingalls. And let's see what else we've got. Well, of course, there's the Sunset Highway. Where is that? I don't know what she called it. Sunset Highway Mini. So I guess this is for kids. But anyway, yeah, she's got the bigger one and the smaller one. Anyway, definitely like check out Caitlin Hunter. Check out Maria Wallen. The thing with Maria Wallen, however, she has some, I mean, gorgeous, gorgeous patterns, of course. But what's weird is, I think it's weird anyway, is that for some reason she does her color work back and forth. You know, when it's going to be steeped. No, sorry, when it's a cardigan, she actually works them back and forth, which is something I don't really get. But let's see, here's one I love, which I will probably never do because, again, it's very, very long. Look at that, it's almost a dress. Kind of a tunic kind of thing. But look at the colors in that. Yeah, so gorgeous. And what else has she got? That's called Sage, by the way. But like, for instance, this particular sweater, called Chestnut, it says that it's knitted flat. I wouldn't knit that flat. I would definitely steek it, because it would be super easy. It's set up to be a cardigan anyway, so you would just, instead of having it into, you know, flat, you would just add a steek panel of stitches down here, like say 10. I don't know what the ideal number for a steek is, but it seems to vary between 5 stitches and 10 stitches. I will let you know as I go what I do and what ends up seeming like the best idea. But yeah. All right, sorry, I got cut off because my memory card got full. I still haven't got a new one. How many times have I said I was going to buy a new memory card? I don't know. Anyway, I was showing you this Marie Wallen sweater, and it's just beautiful. But as I said, I would definitely add a steek, and I don't think it would be tricky at all. It would be way better. I don't know why she does that. I mean, it seems to be common knowledge that doing color work and using the pearls, like trying to do it flat so that you steek. Sorry, oh my God, I've got steeking on the brain. So, doing color work flat so that you have to purl every other row makes it a lot harder. Like, everybody seems to agree that knitting color work is easier than purling it, but she does not seem to agree, or she thinks that a lot of people might be daunted by the steeking, I guess. Probably that could be it, and I guess people are scared of it. So that's why I'm doing this knit along. I really want to conquer our fear of steeking. Here's another little colorwork sweater sheet, and this is gorgeous, but simple as anything. I really like it. Just a simple yoke, which would be really very nice, although it does look a little like it might be tight around the shoulders, but that's, yeah. You have to check the other. She's got over 1,000 designs on Ravelry, Marie Wallen. What? That is crazy. Anyway, she's just prolific. Here's some nice, you could do some arm warmers. Check this out. Like, what a nice way to start your color work career. Is to make some beautiful arm warmers like that. And they don't even have thumbs, so it'll be pretty straightforward. in the round, yes, of course. And there's lots of hats and scarves and just everything, really everything. Oh, here's another really long sweater, which I think it's the same as the one I showed you before. Well, maybe it is, I don't know. No, this is called Wild Rose, and it is similar to the Sage, I think, but it doesn't have any pockets, I guess. That's beautiful. Man. Hi there. I'm interrupting this video to be a little more clear about what I'm looking for in terms of color work. So it can be intarsia, which would include the little Avery Sweater that by Sasha Hire that I am knitting currently. So any kind of intarsia, stranded color work, which includes, of course, Fair Isle, yoke sweaters, all kinds of things. If you've never done stripes and you want to do stripes, that's okay. But if you've already done them, you should really do something a little more complicated than stripes. But yeah, so something a little more than just color blocks, let's say. So yeah, go for something new. That's what I'm encouraging you to do. And yeah, that's it. I just wanted to make that more clear. And if you do stranded plus intarsia, color work plus steeking, you will have 2 entries in for the prize at the end. And this is going to go till December 15th. Okay? Alrighty. So from September 1st till December 15th. Nice long time to do a sweater, for instance. Okay? Happy knitting. Back to the program. So much food for thought. I don't want to go on and on, as I already have. Yeah, I think that's about it for today. Okay, well, I'm going to leave this for now and hopefully get back to you in a couple weeks. In September, I'm going off on a tour. I'll be leaving on the 28th of September and getting back on October 16th. So, and in between, I'll be a little bit busy, but I think I'll be able to fit in 1 or 2. Well, I hope so, because we'll be starting this knit along. So I'll try to get in another one for sure before I leave. As I said, I'm trying to do it every 2 weeks. I'm not always successful. Anyway, join the knit along. I really hope you will get a few people, and I'm going to set up a page project or whatever, a new subject in my the Guilty Knitter page for the podcast, which is over on Ravelry. Everything will be down in the description bar down below here. You'll find all the links, and so if you're interested in joining the knit along, just say so in that thread, which I will start as soon as I get this thing published. And you can also introduce yourself if you haven't already. And so there you go. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this rambling podcast about this and that. And I will see you next time. Happy knitting. Bye.